Hello students, hope everything is fine with you. In the previous class we have completed the unit 2. Today we will start a new lesson, unit 3, books of prime entry. Okay, so in this unit also the half of the lesson or theories. After that we will start doing our exercises. Okay, so all of you take your accountancy book as well as your accountancy note. All of you must take your accountancy note and your accountancy book. Without taking your book, don't watch this video. You must take your books and you have to see where the topics and what are the things that we are going to discuss. So let's move on to our lesson. '26. Learning objectives to enable the students to understand the meaning and principles of double entry system. Okay, so we will learn clearly about what is double entry system and how to record the transaction under double entry system. Okay, analyze the transaction on the basis of accounting equation approach. So there are certain equations and we will learn here. Apply the rules of double entry system to pass journal entries for transaction. So there are certain rules for double entry system and we will learn that rules and we will pass journal entries. After that we will start doing journal. After that we'll go to ledger. After that we'll learn to how to make the financial statements and balance sheet and all. Okay, and key terms to know: source documents, cash receipt, invoice, debit note, credit note, pay in slip, check, double entry system, accounting equation, golden rules of accounting, journal entry. So these are the terms that we will learn from this lesson. Okay, so let's move on to our unit 3. All of you open your book to page number 27. Page number 27. Introduction. Student activity. Think. A trader sold goods on credit to one of his customers for 2000 rupees. After 2 days, the customer returned some of the goods worth 300, which were in damaged condition. The trader received back the goods. Later, when the customer paid 1700 rupees, the trader demanded for full payment. He forgot about the returned goods. So, how can this situation be avoided? So, there is a trader, ஒரு வியாபாரி இருக்கிறாரு. அவர் கடனுக்கு தன்னுடைய கஸ்டமருக்கு, தன்னுடைய வாடிக்கையாளருக்கு 2000 rupeesக்கு குட்ஸ் கொடுக்குறாரு, பொருள் கொடுக்குறாரு. So after 2 days, that customer he bought for 2000 rupees. Okay, so அந்த 2000 rupeesல 300 rupees goods worth he is returning it because it has some damage, so the customer is returning back. The trader received the goods. அவர் வந்து அந்த 300 ரூபாய்க்குள்ள இந்த goods வந்து வாங்கிக்கிட்டாரு. So after it was a credit purchase, கடனுக்கு வாங்கியிருக்காரு. So 300க்குள்ள worth goods கொடுத்தாச்சு. So later when the customer paid, so actually he has to pay 1700 only, right? 2000 minus 300, 1700 only the remaining amount. But the trader demanded for full payment. But he says, no, you have bought for 2000 rupees, so you have to pay the 2000 rupees. Actually, he forgot about the return goods. Okay, already அவர் அந்த 300 ரூபாய் அந்த பொருளை ரிட்டர்ன் வாங்கினதை வந்து அவர் மறந்துட்டார். So how can this situation be avoided? So how can we avoid in such condition? We'll see. Okay, we will learn how we can avoid. Let's start the lesson. Accounting process starts with identifying transactions involving money or money's worth and recording this financial transaction in the books of accounts. So accounting process means it starts with identifying the transaction. What are the income that we have, what are the debts that we need to pay, all those things involving money and money's worth, and recording these financial transactions in the books of accounts. Transactions are recorded as and when they take place based on authentic documents or proofs or evidences. Okay, so just we no need to write without any evidence. Okay, cash transaction இருக்கணும். அந்த cash transaction நம்ம ரெக்கார்ட் பண்றதுக்கு நமக்கு போதிய ஆதாரங்கள் நம்ம கையில வந்து இருக்கணும். Okay, the proofs or the documents or the evidences. The authentic proofs are called as source documents. So underline. So what is meant by source documents? The authentic proofs. அதாவது உண்மை, இது உண்மை அப்படின்னு சான்றளிக்கக்கூடிய ஆவணங்கள் தான் ஆதார ஆவணங்கள். So if you are going to a shop and you are purchasing so many things, okay, ஒரு சூப்பர் மார்க்கெட் போறீங்க, அங்கேருந்து உங்களுக்கு வேண்டிய எல்லாத்தையும் நீங்கள் பர்ச்சேஸ் பண்ணிக்கிறீங்க. After that they will give a big bill, right? So that is authentic proof that you have bought a product from that shop. So that is called source documents. And you can safeguard the bill at any time. You can just go through it, right? For this much amount you have purchased the product from that shop. So let's learn the source documents. Source documents are the authentic evidences of financial transaction. So உண்மையான சான்றுகள். Source documentனா இந்த business financial transactionல நமக்கு கிடைக்கக்கூடிய evidences. These documents show the nature of transaction, the date, the amount and the parties involved. So in these documents it shows the nature of transaction, what kind of transaction, whether it is for cash or credit, and how many we have, the amount, how many we have purchased, how many we need to return, and those things, and the date must be there, and also the parties involved, for whom the names also there in the receipts. Source documents include cash receipt, invoice, debit note, credit note, pay-in slips, salary bills, wage bills, check, record slips, etc. So these are the things which comes under the source document. They are the basis of recording transaction in the books of account. So through this source document only we will collect the data, information, and we will write in the accounting note. They also serve as legal evidence in case of any legal dispute. So சட்ட ரீதியா ஏதாவது பிரச்சனை வருதுன்னா அந்த ஸ்லிப்ஸ் வந்து நமக்கு ரொம்ப ரொம்ப உதவிகரமா இருக்கும். It is taken as legal evidence. The source document commonly used or discussed below. So in this class we will learn what are the source documents, mostly commonly used one. So in same page, page number 28, invoice. Invoice is used for credit purchases and credit sales. So in the cash receipt we have seen it is for the cash purchase and the cash sales, but here invoice is used for credit purchase and credit sales. That means கடனுக்கு வாங்கினது அல்லது கடனுக்கு விற்பனை செய்தது பதிவு பண்ணக்கூடியது தான் இன்வாய்ஸ். The date, amount and detail of credit purchases and credit sales are given in the invoices. Invoice is generally prepared by the seller in 3 copies. So mostly the seller may prepare 3 copies and the first copy is given to the purchasers. யார் வாங்குனாங்களோ அவங்களுக்கு ஒரு காப்பி கொடுப்பாங்க. The second copy is sent along with the goods for checking, and the third is retained by the seller and used as the source document for recording the transaction. So the seller he prepared three copies. One is for the purchaser, நம்ம கிட்ட வாங்குனவங்களுக்கு கொடுக்கிறது, and then second one is if you are sending the goods, with the goods there will be one, it is for checking or some, it is a legal evidence, right? So to that one, and another one, the seller, he will keep with himself to use to record the transaction. Okay, it is a legal evidence. So we have seen a question, right, in page number 27, a trader sold goods. So how the problem can be solved? By preparing this invoice. If the trader, when he sold goods on credit, at that time itself, if he has prepared this invoice, he must be remember, or if he has whether he checked, he will know for how much he has sent the goods and how much he has returned it. Okay, and then this is the example of the invoice. So just go through it. Okay, what are the things they have given, just read it. So this is the example of invoice. Invoice means it is used for credit purchase and credit sales. And then let's move on to next. So next one, page number 29, debit note. பற்றுக்குறிப்பு. Okay, the buyer may return the goods to the seller in various situations, such as when goods are defective or damaged goods do not meet the specification, etc. So in certain cases, the buyer, okay, நம்ம கிட்ட இருந்து பொருள் வாங்கிட்டு போனவங்க, they may send the goods return. Okay, நம்ம கிட்ட திரும்பி கொடுத்துருவாங்க. It is mostly in the big purchases. Okay, பெரிய purchase பண்ணும்போது ஏதாவது defects இருந்துச்சுன்னா நமக்கு திரும்ப அனுப்புவாங்க. So if the product is damaged or அந்த அவங்க வாங்கினவரை திருப்தி பண்ணாட்டியும் அவங்க வந்து திரும்ப அனுப்பி தருவாங்க. When goods are returned by a buyer, the buyer prepares a debit note and sends it to the seller. So now அந்த வாங்கின buyer வந்து அவர் வந்து ஒரு டெபிட் நோட் அப்படின்ற ஒன்று வந்து ப்ரிப்பேர் பண்ணுவார். ப்ரிப்பேர் பண்ணி he has to sell it to the seller. அந்த குட்ஸ் ரிட்டர்ன் பண்ணும்போது இந்த டெபிட் நோட்டும் கூட சென்ட் பண்ணணும். It contains details such as the description of the goods, quantity returned, and also their value. So that note should be, the debit note should be contains the details of description of the goods. So என்னென்ன goods, அதோட details and the quantity, amount, how much they have returned. So in that case study we have seen, no, he has purchased for 2000, but the worth of 300 rupees he has returned it. So like that, the quantity and also their value. So for 2000 he has purchased and the value of 300 he has returned it. Okay, so that one also it should be in the debit note. 2 copies are prepared in general. 1 copy is sent to the seller, another one is retained by the buyer. So one வந்து அந்த செல்லருக்கு அந்த ப்ராடக்ட் கூட அனுப்புவாங்க, இன்னொன்று அந்த பையரே கையில் வச்சிருப்பாரு. It is a document issued by a buyer stating the amount owned by the seller. A debit note is also called as debit memo. Okay, students, so it is prepared by the buyer. When he return goods, he need to prepare this, and it should has the detail about the goods and the value and the quantity, how much he is returning it, all those things it should be there. And this is the specimen of debit note. How the debit note should be in your book, it may be clear, just to go through it. Okay, in all the debit note, credit note or anything, there must be a name of the enterprises. Okay, mostly the dates will be there and the addresses. Okay, just go through it. And let's move on to next one. Page number 30. Page number 30, credit note. We have seen debit note, now credit note. It is a statement prepared by the seller who receives back from his customers the goods sold. It contains details such as the description of the goods, quantity returned, and also their value. This is the document sent by seller to the buyer stating that certain amount is owed to the buyer. It is also called as credit memo. So this credit note is prepared by the seller who received back from the customer goods sold. So with the debit note he sends, and the seller he made the credit note. Okay, there also the details such as description of the good, the details about the goods, and the quantity written, the things must be there. And the next, it is also called as credit memo. Debit memo, credit memo. Debit note, credit note. Okay, don't never ever forget. And the debit note is prepared by the buyer. Here the credit note is prepared by the seller. And the specimen, this is the specimen of the credit note. Mostly same as the debit note. Okay, just read it and see what are the items were given there. So let's move on to next. So page number 31, pay in slip. So it is this thing that used in the bank. Okay, when cash or check is deposited in the bank, a form is to be filled by a customer and submitted to the banker along with cash or check. This is called as pay in slip or deposit slip. ஸோ மணி வந்து நம்ம டெபாசிட் பண்ண போகிறோம் அப்படின்னா அந்த பேங்க்ஸில் வந்து ஒரு ஸ்லிப் மாதிரி வச்சுருப்பாங்க. ஓகே, we need to fill it and we need to give with the amount to the banker. The main part of this will be retained by the bank and counterfile duly stamped and signed by the banker is returned to the customer. So they will get this paying slip and it is a document and they will just turn off ஒரு சின்ன பகுதி அவங்க கிழிச்சு எடுத்துக்குவாங்க. அதர்வைஸ் they will stamp it, ஸ்டாம்ப் பண்ணி சைன் பண்ணி திரும்ப வந்து அதில் ஒரு ஆஃப் ஆஃப் த திங் டோர் பண்ணி நம்ம கையில் வந்து கொடுத்துருவாங்க. ஓகே, ஸோ பெயின் ஸ்லிப் மீன்ஸ் இட் இஸ் கால்ட் டெபாசிட் ஸ்லிப். நம்ம வந்து பேங்க்ல போய் மணி டெபாசிட் பண்ணணும்னா, இஃப் எனிவேர் இஃப் யூ ஆர் கோயிங் டு டெபாசிட் த மணி, you need to fill the paying slip with the money. You need to give this paying slip and they will, the banker will turn, அதாவது அதில் உள்ள பாதி வந்து அவர் வச்சுப்பாரு, பாதி வந்து எவிடன்ஸாக நமக்கு திரும்ப கொடுத்துருப்பார். So here is the specimen and you can see the name must be there and the account number, bank account number, and the amount how much we are going to deposit. We need to write in clear in the amount wise as well as in the words. And also here the amount, maybe 2000 means how many note or currency are in 2500, 100. Okay, so all those details we need to fill it and give it. So pay in slip means don't never ever forget deposit slip, pay in, giving inside with the cash that how much you are going to deposit. Okay, and the next one, page number 31, check. So check you all know, right? Check is a negotiable instrument. Negotiable instrument means it is a signed document that promises you can pay a certain amount to certain persons. Checkbook is issued by a bank to its customers for withdrawing money for own use or for making payment to others. So checkbook is issued by the bank. If you have a bank account, they will give you the checkbook and the recording slip. It is basically the use of the check is to withdraw the money. பேங்க்ல இருந்து காசு எடுக்கிறதுக்கு. ஃபார் இட் மே பி ஃபார் ஓன் யூஸ், அதர்வைஸ் யாருக்காவது நம்ம பேமெண்ட் பண்ணணும்னா அவங்க கிட்ட நம்ம செக்காவும் கொடுத்துக்கலாம். By issue of check, a bank is directed to pay a specific amount of money from the person's account either to the same person or to the person in whose favor the check has been issued. So அது வந்து நம்ம டைரக்டா வந்து பேங்க் வந்து அந்த செக்கை கொடுத்தோன்னா அந்த மணி வந்து பே பண்ணணும். இட் மேபி ஃபார் த ஓன் யூஸ் ஆஃப் த பர்சன், அதர்வைஸ் ஃபார் தோஸ் ஹூ ஃபேவர்ட், யாருக்காவது அந்த செக்கை எழுதி கொடுத்துருந்தாங்கன்னா அவங்க போனாலும் அந்த அமௌண்ட் வந்து அவங்க கொடுப்பாங்க. Each checkbook has record slips for entering the details of checks issued. It remains with the account holder for future reference. So these are the things, the recording slip. So it remains for future reference. ஏதாவது நம்ம future reference பண்ணணும்னா all the details will be there. So this is the you have been seen, right? நீங்க வந்து பார்த்திருப்பீங்க செக் எல்லாம், செக் எப்படி இருக்குன்னு. So the same thing they have given here. Okay students, so we have covered the source documents and the remaining part we will see in next video. Okay, now let's write the classwork. Let's move on to write our classwork. Open your accountancy note. So let's write the classwork. All of you take your classwork note. Write today's date and unit 3, books of prime entry. Take new page and write neatly. New words: debit பற்று or கொடுக்கப்பட வேண்டிய கடன், payment செலுத்துதல், deposit வைப்பு, withdraw திரும்ப பெறு, discount means தள்ளுபடி. So take time and write neatly. Debit means பற்று or கொடுக்கப்பட வேண்டிய கடன். Payment செலுத்துதல். Deposit means வைப்பு நிதி. Withdraw means திரும்ப பெறு. Discount means தள்ளுபடி. After this, let's write the question and answer. Very short answer questions from your book, page number 58. Okay, today we are going to write all the 8 questions. First question: what are source documents? As we have learned today, source documents are the authentic evidences of financial transaction. These documents show the nature of transactions, the date, the amount, and the parties involved. Source documents include cash receipt, invoice, debit note, credit note, pay-in slip, salary, bill, wage bill, check, record slips, etc. So there are 8 very short questions. We haven't completed the remaining questions, but we will write and keep, okay, and you have to learn it. Second question, what is accounting equation? Accounting equation is a mathematical expression which shows that the total of assets is equal to the total of liabilities and capital. This is based on dual aspect concept of accounting. Write neatly. Most of your handwritings are not good. You should write neatly. I'm giving time to write, so just take your note and write it. So let's write the third one. Write any one transaction which decreases the assets and increases the liabilities, increases one asset and decrease another assets. So these are the things that we will discuss in next class, okay, so you will understand it better, but now write the answers. Decrease the asset and increase the liability is paid creditors. Increase one asset and decrease another asset is cash sales. So decrease the asset and decrease the liability. So நம்மளுடைய சொத்து மதிப்பு குறையும் போது நம்மளுடைய பொறுப்புகளும் குறையணும். அந்த டிரான்சாக்ஷன் என்னன்னா பெய்டு கிரெடிட்டர்ஸ். நம்ம ஒரு கடனாளிக்கு நம்ம பே பண்ணும்போது நம்மள்ட்ட இருக்க சொத்து மதிப்பும் குறையும், நம்ம கிட்ட இருக்க கேஷும் குறையும். நம்ம காசு கொடுக்கும்போது the same way the liabilityயும் decrease ஆகும். And increase in one asset and decrease in another asset, that is cash sales. So கேஷுக்கு நம்ம சேல்ஸ் பண்ணும்போது நம்ம கிட்ட இருந்து சேல்ஸ் கேஷ் வந்து உள்ள வருது, that is an asset, and decrease in another asset, that means the stock, the goods is going out, the same worth. So if you are not getting enough time, just pause the video and write, okay. So next one, fourth one, what is meant by journalizing? The word journal has been derived from the French word jour, which means day. So journal means daily. Journalizing is the beginning of the accounting process for financial transaction. So recording the everyday transaction is known as journal. The next one, fifth question, what is real account? And then sixth one, how are personal accounts classified? And then seventh one, state the accounting rule for nominal account. So what is real account? All accounts relating to tangible and intangible properties and positions are called real accounts. And how personal accounts classified? Personal accounts classified, account relating to person is called personal account. The personal account may be natural, artificial or representative personal account. And then state the accounting rule for nominal account. Debit all the expenses and loss, credit all incomes and gains. So debit all expenses and losses, credit all incomes and gains. So after the loss just put one comma, okay? Debit all the expenses and losses, comma, credit all the incomes and gains. So write it down these questions. One more question to complete. And the eighth question, give the golden rules of double entry accounting system. Golden rules of double entry system. Personal account, debit the receiver, credit the giver. Real account, debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Nominal account, debit all the expenses and losses, credit all the incomes and gains. So it is very very important to learn this question, the golden rules of double entry system. So throughout your accounting career, these rules you are going to follow. Okay. So by getting this system or this rules is very very important. So there are three types of accounts: personal, real and nominal account. So for personal account, debit the receiver, credit the giver. Real account, debit what comes in and credit what goes out. And nominal account, debit all expenses and losses, credit what comes in and gains. Now let's move on to homework. Write it down, write neatly. It is very important. Homework. Complete the classworks and study it. Complete the classworks and study it. Write answer for the following questions. What are source documents? And give the golden rules of double entry accounting system. So you are going to learn all those 8 questions and the new words, as well as you are going to write these 2 questions in your homework note. Write the answer for the following question. What are the source documents? And give the golden rules of double entry system. Write and keep it in your homework note. Okay students, we will wind up here, and the remaining part of the lesson will be continued in next video. Okay, until then, take care, utilize your time at home, and thank you.